Humanity has prevailed. For now. These are the words typed through sheer exhaustion from the one man who stood between a custom-built OpenAI model and total victory. In an era defined by an almost feverish anxiety about artificial intelligence, where it seems to be conquering every field we once thought was uniquely human, composing music, creating breathtaking art, diagnosing diseases, and writing poetry, one of the last bastions of our supposed supremacy has always been complex, creative problem-solving. But even that fortress is now under a relentless siege. This isn't just another tech news story. This is the story of a battle that felt like it was ripped from the pages of science fiction, a direct clash of intellects that pitted the world's greatest human programmers against a digital gladiator, forged in the fires of the world's most famous AI company. Today, we're not just reporting on a coding competition. We are dissecting what might be the final, glorious, and perhaps fleeting stand of human ingenuity against the cold, calculating logic of the machine. We'll uncover the identity of this mysterious programmer, a man with a history so intertwined with AI that his victory feels like a Shakespearean drama. We'll dive deep into the impossibly complex challenge that was designed to favor the machine, but was ultimately conquered by a human spark. And we will be forced to ask the crucial question: was this victory a hopeful sign for our future, or was it simply humanity's last, beautiful gasp in a race we are ultimately destined to lose? The stage was set in Tokyo for the AtCoder World Tour Finals 2025. Think of it as the World Cup for coders, but instead of physical prowess, the game is pure mental agility. Only 12 of the planet's highest-ranked human programmers receive an invitation. It is the ultimate arena for a very specific kind of genius. But this year, there was a 13th competitor, an uninvited guest. It wasn't human. It had no face, no pulse, no nerves. It was a custom AI model, branded OpenAI AHC, built by the architects of ChatGPT, OpenAI. And everyone expected it to dominate. In the lead-up, the hype was palpable. This wasn't just another benchmark. This was a direct confrontation. The AI was programmed for one thing: to win. It had been trained on countless problems, optimized for raw speed and logical perfection. It was the odds-on favorite, the logical conclusion to years of AI development. Against this silicon titan stood 12 human beings. And among them, one man who would soon make history, Przemysław Dębiak, a 42-year-old programmer from Gdynia, Poland, known in the coding world by his handle Psyho. And Dębiak is no ordinary programmer. He's the embodiment of a maverick, a veteran algorithmic competitor, a verified Mensa member with an intellect in the highest percentile, and a 4-time champion of the prestigious Top Coder Open Marathon. But here's the most fascinating twist in this entire saga. Dębiak is a former OpenAI engineer. He was part of the team that helped develop OpenAI 5, the legendary AI that famously defeated world champions in the incredibly complex video game Dota 2. He understands, from the inside, how these powerful systems are built. He knows their strengths and, perhaps crucially, their hidden weaknesses. This isn't just a man versus machine story. It's a creator, in a sense, facing down the philosophical descendant of his own work. He is a free spirit who has never held a traditional full-time job, once joking about career paths ranging from professional DJing to high-stakes poker. This rebellious, unconventional mindset might have been the exact weapon needed to face a foe that operates on pure, unadulterated logic. This was the man who would face his former company's creation in a battle for intellectual supremacy. The challenge itself sounds deceptively simple, but it is a monster of complexity. The task was to plot a path for a robot across a 30 by 30 grid using the fewest possible moves. This is what computer scientists call an NP-hard optimization problem. In layman's terms, this means the number of possible solutions is astronomically vast. It's a problem from the same family as the famous traveling salesman problem, where you have to find the shortest possible route that visits a list of cities and returns to the origin city. As you add more cities, the number of possible routes explodes exponentially. For the 30 by 30 grid, trying to calculate every single possible path to find the absolute best one would take a conventional computer longer than the age of the universe. This is why the contest isn't about finding the one perfect, flawless solution, because that's practically impossible. It's about finding a good enough solution, an elegant, creative, and highly efficient path under immense pressure. It's a test of finding profound simplicity within infinite complexity, and the conditions were designed to be a crucible for human intellect. The competitors were locked in for a grueling 10-hour coding marathon. 10 hours straight of staring at a screen, mind racing, with no access to external libraries or documentation, no Googling for help, no consulting pre-written code. It was just the coder and their chosen tool, in Dębiak's case, Visual Studio Code with basic autocomplete. Success relied entirely on raw, unassisted intuition, creativity, and the ability to adapt on the fly, qualities that have long been considered the exclusive domain of human ingenuity. For 10 agonizing hours, the battle raged in a room thick with tension. Imagine the scene. The only sound is the quiet hum of electronics and the frantic yet precise clicking of keyboards. 13 competitors, 12 human and 1 digital, locked in a state of supreme concentration. Dębiak later admitted the AI pushed him to his absolute limits. He could see its score on the leaderboard, a relentless, unfeeling number that just kept climbing. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't feel pressure. It doesn't doubt itself. It is a perfect, logical engine of progress. I was close to the model's score, he recalled, and that pushed me to give everything. He was running on pure adrenaline and willpower, confessing he had slept only around 10 hours over the course of 3 days, pushing his mind and body to the very brink of collapse. For hours, the AI held the lead. It seemed inevitable. But then, as the final minutes of the 10-hour marathon ticked away, the unthinkable happened. Dębiak, fueled by exhaustion and a final brilliant surge of creative insight, made a breakthrough. He saw a novel approach, a clever shortcut the machine had missed. He implemented it, and he watched his score leapfrog over OpenAI AHC. The human had done it. When the dust settled, the results were confirmed.
Przemysław Psyho Dębiak had clinched first place, outscoring the OpenAI model by a margin of roughly 9.5%. The AI came in second, handily beating the other 11 human grandmasters. But it had not beaten them all. Humanity had prevailed. This is an incredible story of human endurance and the sheer power of will against calculated odds.
If you believe this kind of human spirit deserves recognition, take a second to hit that like button to celebrate this monumental achievement. So, how did he do it? How did one man, sleep-deprived and under immense pressure, outthink a machine designed for this very task? The answer lies not in beating the machine at its own game, but in playing a different game entirely. According to the contest administrator, Yoichi Iwata, the AI excelled at what you'd expect, raw optimization. It was a brute force calculator at heart, methodically exploring solutions with incredible speed. But, as Iwata noted, it fell short of human creativity. Dębiak won because his approach was fundamentally different. He used what's known as a heuristic-driven method. This is a term for using mental shortcuts, practical rules of thumb, and educated guesses to solve problems. Think of it like this. The AI was like a tourist with a perfectly detailed 2-scale map of a city. It can, in theory, find the most optimal path between any 2 points by analyzing every single street and intersection. It's methodical, precise, and incredibly thorough. Dębiak, on the other hand, was like a local taxi driver who has driven those streets for 20 years. He doesn't need to consult the map. He knows which alleyways are secret shortcuts, which main roads are always jammed at rush hour, and which traffic lights have the longest waits. He operates on instinct, experience, and a feel for the system. That's heuristics. It's not about brute force calculation, it's about intelligent approximation. He relied on a spark, a gut feeling,
a type of intelligence that is difficult to quantify and even harder to program into lines of code. As one commenter on the story noted, a large language model doesn't have true intuition or creativity. It's channeling the patterns and creativity of the humans who wrote its training data. Dębiak wasn't channeling anyone. He was creating his strategy in real time, adapting and improvising in a way the AI simply couldn't.
This victory feels like a scene straight out of a movie. OpenAI's own CEO, Sam Altman, could only offer a simple, fitting response on X. Good job, Psyho. It was a symbolic moment, a modern-day John Henry story, where a lone individual triumphed over a powerful machine in a field where machines are supposed to excel. But before we declare victory for mankind and celebrate the enduring supremacy of our creativity, we need to take a deep breath and face a sobering reality.
This victory, as monumental and inspiring as it was, may have been an exception, not the rule. It feels like the story of John Henry, the steel-driving man from American folklore who raced a steam-powered drill and won, only to die from exhaustion with his hammer in his hand. John Henry won the battle, but the steam drill won the war, replacing human workers across the country. Is this what we just witnessed? A glorious, heroic, but ultimately Pyrrhic victory for humanity?
Dębiak himself is no naive optimist. He readily admitted, it's easy to imagine a different problem where AI would win and humans would be far behind. He knows the clock is ticking. And the data backs him up with terrifying clarity. Stanford's 2025 AI Index, a key benchmark for artificial intelligence progress, paints a startling picture.
In 2023, AI models could successfully pass complex coding benchmarks just 4.4% of the time, a respectable but not threatening figure. Just 1 year later, in 2024, that number skyrocketed to an astonishing 71.7%. That is not a gentle curve of progress. That is a vertical, exponential explosion in capability that is unprecedented in technological history. The landscape for programmers is already being fundamentally reshaped. Tools like GitHub Copilot are now used daily by over 90% of developers, writing code, suggesting solutions, and acting as a digital partner. AI is no longer just a theoretical competitor in a tournament. It's a collaborator, a tool, and increasingly, a replacement for certain tasks. This leads to a fascinating debate, one that played out in the comments of the original article. Some argue that an AI like this doesn't possess true intuition or creativity. It's merely a sophisticated parrot, an autocomplete on steroids that is channeling the intuition and creativity of the authors of its training data. In this view, the AI is simply remixing the collective genius of all the human programmers it learned from. But others push back, and they have a point. This particular AI beat 11 of the 12 best human competitors in the world. So if it's just a parrot, it's a parrot that is smarter than almost every human on the planet at this specific task. To call its performance anything less than a monumental achievement in artificial intelligence would be to underestimate the tidal wave that is coming. The real question is what this means for the future of work. The optimistic view is that AI will become a powerful partner, handling the tedious, repetitive parts of coding and freeing up human programmers to focus on high-level architecture, creative problem-solving, and true innovation. But there's a darker, more pragmatic view. As AI improves, it will inevitably start climbing the ladder of abstraction, becoming better at architecture and system design itself. A major concern is the challenge of debugging.
How does a human programmer find a bug in a million lines of code written by an AI with a thought process that is fundamentally alien to our own? It could be like trying to proofread a novel written in a language you don't understand. This is where many believe human programmers will remain essential for some time to come as digital quality assurance specialists. But the question that haunts everyone in the industry is, for how long?
The race between human and artificial intelligence is accelerating every single day, with breakthroughs happening faster than most of us can keep up with. To stay on top of these crucial developments and understand what they mean for your job and your future, make sure you're subscribed and have those notifications turned on.
In the end, Dębiak's win feels like a testament to something more profound than just clever coding.
It was a victory for endurance, for the human will to win, and for that unquantifiable spark of ingenuity that, for now, machines have yet to replicate. The fact that he's a former OpenAI engineer adds a beautiful layer of complexity. This wasn't a Luddites fighting against technology. This was a creator showing that the human mind, the very thing that created AI, still holds a unique power.
He didn't just beat the machine, he demonstrated what we are capable of when pushed by it. It was a human John Henry moment, a defiant shout against the inevitable march of progress, proving that there's more to intelligence than raw processing power. It's a testament to the spark of creativity that machines haven't replicated. And we can only hope they never will.